Head over to miniaturemarket.com. They have thousands of board games at discounted prices like Distilled. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we are going to be putting together all sorts of different ingredients. So we're going to be taking yeasts and water and alcohol and different types of sugars like some fruit sugars or some plant sugars, some wheat sugars, and we're going to be distilling them down to make some spirits. Today we're taking a look at Distilled. This is a medium weight Euro game. It takes about 30 minutes per player. Let me show you how it's played. I'll see you on the other side. In Distilled, each player is going to get a distiller identity. It's going to be a specific person with a special ability from a certain region. They're also going to get their signature ingredient and a signature recipe that they'll be able to do throughout the game. Also, each game it changes which spirit you're going to make. You have a clipboard, this slides in here, and what's available also depends on which identities are available that game. For example, there's 8 different flights, essentially games that you could play as a different mix of spirits, and again, which identities are possible to play with these so that because they sort of match up with the different areas and things like that. So each player gets their own distillery board where you're going to have your identity. They're going to have some starting money and some starting things. You'll also have a glass bottle and a barrel that you'll always have. These are your starting items. You're going to be upgrading those later. You're also going to be putting upgrades in your distillery as well. And you may be aging things for future rounds to be worth more spirit points. The game is played over 7 rounds and you're going to go through 4 phases each round. Now the first phase is the market phase where you'll take turns buying different things. There's different things you can do. You can get upgrades, which sometimes will be a specialist, sometimes they'll be equipment, and they cost a certain amount. Usually you start with only about $4. So money is pretty tight early in the game, but these will give you all sorts of different abilities and different things to pull on strategy-wise. For example, things like the orchard or the greenhouse will give you certain types of sugars that you'll be able to use to distill, one of them each round, which essentially, hey, yeah, you're spending 4 or 5 now, but over the course of the game, that's going to pay off because you're getting a free sugar, which is not cheap each round. Or the intern researcher allows you to basically get a discount off recipe cubes, which is going to allow you to learn different and better recipes. There'll be premium ingredients you might be buying, like types of sugar, like grain sugars or plant sugars, sometimes fruit sugars. And you might be buying items like barrels and bottles. Bottles are going to help you get more points and such, sometimes more money as well, but they're also going to help you with set collection at the end of the game because you're trying to get bottles from the same region types and sort of do some set collection. But there's also a basic market that you have the ability to get stuff from each round, but you're only able to take 2 of these cards. And again, you're doing one sort of market action and it's going clockwise. Yeast is interesting because hey, it helps you get things, but it also gives you $1. Water, again, is going to get you $1 when you sort of make something with it, but it also allows you to peek at the top of any of the piles and possibly buy something there. But there's other things like you might need some grain sugar, some plant sugar, or some fruit sugar, or some general sort of clay barrels or wood barrels. This is going to help you age certain recipes. Some spirits need aging, some of them can't have aging, and of course there's costs there. Once everyone is done buying, then you go to the distill. And the distill phase, I'm trying to make something. Now, I had bought a recipe cube for $2 because I want to make cachaça. Now, that's because I want to try to get some points. And I bought some plant sugar because that's what this needs. It cannot have grain or fruit sugar. And I have a yeast and the water there. And now for each sugar I put in here, I get to have add some alcohol to it. This is going to add how much it's worth, and I can place this in yeast or this because you need to have something in each of the 3 of these of your wash back in order to do this. Now here comes an interesting aspect is we are going to distill this, which means we're going to shuffle up all these cards, we're going to lose the top and the bottom. I can't afford to lose the plant sugar, but it's early in the first round. If I do, I can always fall back and make vodka or moonshine, but let's see what happens. So I'll shuffle them up, I'll lose the top, which is the head, yeast, I'll lose the bottom, which is the tail, alcohol. Okay, so I was left with the plant sugar and the water. This is actually what I'm going to be making here and distilling here. Now, because I was able to have the plant sugar, I can make cachaça. If I did not, in this case, I would have been making moonshine because I wouldn't have had any sugars. Now, moonshine is going to get me $2 and a spirit point, where the cachaça is going to get me no money, but it's going to get me 4 points, if you will. Now, when you're making this, I needed to make it in a barrel that's not aged. So this is a metal barrel. You start with this. You keep it the whole game. You can use it every time if you want. It's going to give me $1. The water gave me $1. So I'm going to get 4 spirit points and $2. And that's my distill for this, for example. Now in this case, this was the selling phase because I wanted to sell this. However, another player might have this specific identity and they're going to be wanting to sell spirits that are aged. And in fact, this identity actually even comes with the recipe cube for whiskey, which must be in a barrel that can be aged. So you can't sell it right away. It has to age a little bit. Now, they might not have been able to do this in the first turn, but if they were able to distill something with 2 grain sugars and no other sugars, they would be able to put it in a barrel and age it. For example, they may have gotten a very basic wood barrel, which could be aged, and they could have put this in here. Now, when you do this, you'll actually put it in one of your store spots on the warehouse, but you'll also get a flavor card, and you never get to look at what's on the back of this. It's a type of flavor. It's going to usually give you some more money, but each year, or each round, which is a year, if this stays here and you don't sell it, you continue to age it, you'll be getting more and more flavor, which is going to give it more and more points, but you're not getting money in the short term, so it's a little bit of trade-off there. Now, at the end of the round, you do some cleanup. A certain amount of these cards will get removed and slid down, and new ones will come up depending on the players. And generally speaking, that's how you play the game in a round. But there's a lot of other things to think about. There's a certain amount of goals out here depending on the players. And at the end of each round, you're going to look at this, high class. If you sell a spirit worth 12 or more spirit points, you'll get this, which would be 5 more points. Perfect pair, sell a non-vodka spirit from a bottle from the same region. So that's why you might want to look for specific bottles to be able to do this. Or maybe mouth party, sell a spirit with 4 flavor cards or more. So that person that's doing that whiskey, if they make it early enough so they'll be able to basically age it for 4 years, they're going to be getting an extra huge amount of points there. Each player also gets 3 distillery goals. Now, after the 3rd round, you'll have to get rid of one of these, so there's only 2 you're going to be focusing on at the end of the game. But like Juvenile, 7 spirit to have or be tied with the most non-aged spirit labels. Those spirit labels are going to be the different types of spirits that you've created. Now, they're at the top of the board there, and there's only a certain amount of them depending on the player, so it's a little bit of a race there. Or maybe West Champions, have or be tied for the most America's spirit labels. Or for the farmers, 7 points if you have or be tied for the most non-vodka spirit labels that require grain sugars. There's a lot more going on, but that's the basics of how you play. At the end of the 7th round, whoever has the most points is the winner. Now, before I get to my final thoughts, you may know that health and fitness is and always has been a big part of my life, but health and fitness hasn't always been intertwined with tabletop gaming until now. Jordan from Phoenix Performance Coaching is a tabletop gaming enthusiast and specializes in helping other gamers with their health and fitness goals. He provides 100% online, personalized health and lifestyle coaching platform that's built specifically for tabletop gamers, and it also includes nutritional counseling for those who want it. Jordan has a master's degree in exercise physiology, has been training clients for over 7 years with over 300 success stories, and you can sign up today and your first month is completely risk-free at phoenixperformancecoaching.net. Okay, so this was a very successful Kickstarter campaign. I think it did over $500,000. I liked the theme here. So let's first go through all the things that I did like. So the theme itself, I felt like it's unique. There's not a lot of games about making spirits. So I was really interested to check this out. Now, to follow it up with, I think the game has fantastic art and production value. The game trays work really well. It fits all in this nice big box, nice. I love the art in this game. I like all of it. I think it just looks and feels nice. Linen finish here and there. Even the rule book. I love linen finish rule books. I don't know why. I just do. But all the art on the cards look really nice. It's just very inviting and warm. Art and production knocked it out of the park. The game feels unique. Even in mechanisms. Like you play this thing and it's almost hard to describe it. It's like, okay, it's got kind of set collection, not really. Kind of engine building, but not really. You're basically buying cards and then playing them and removing 2, rinse, repeat. You know, it's like, it's kind of a hard game to describe because there's nothing quite like it, which I think is a positive here. It kind of stands on its own, which is hard to do these days with so many games coming out. This is an economic game for sure. And you got to have a backup plan. It's a tight economic game, very tight with money for most of the game, definitely during the beginning. I like that it has open and hidden goals, so you've got some things that you're trying to work on a hidden way, but there's also races to things to give you focus, and if you can synergize some of those together, go for those. That's always good in games. It's, you know, that's not anything we haven't seen before, but it works really well here. I like that the different spirits that you're doing, you're either selling now or you're aging them. Some of them you'll sell now, you'll get the money, you'll get the points. Others you'll age, you won't sell it now, so you're not going to get the money, you're not going to get the points, but you're going to add flavor. And over the course of the years, you're going to order more and more flavor, which is going to give you more and more points. There's different ways to add flavor fast and different sort of strategies there, so that when you have a round, you could sell 2 things. One you aged, one you didn't age, make a huge round there. If you can make yourself get to that next round. I like that you're doing set collection with bottles of the different regions, and that helps you in one more thing to sort of focus on. I like the asymmetrical distillers and the multiple flights. That works well as well. There's lots of different people to play with, and you've got different special ingredients and special things that they make and stuff like that. So I like that. And also each game you can play with these different flights. There's plenty of them there that have different spirits, so you can't always just do the same thing every game. I like that. And I like that those asymmetric people, they have their their special ingredient recipe and things like that. The special ingredient can come back if you lose it. So overall, I enjoyed the game. Anything I didn't like about it? Well, I think the way that this works, it's very, it's a tight economic game, and it's a medium weight euro. And I think some people are not gonna like the, hey, we shuffle the cards, I lose the top, I lose the bottom. Because, now granted, I feel like you'll still be able to do something. You'll be able to make moonshine or vodka most likely, and you'll get some money. You won't be able to make the thing you really wanted to make, but you can still make something, right? It's a little bit of a fallback plan. You've got to be able to have a second plan, and you've got to be able to have a fallback plan. If you like making a plan and make sure that that plan does not get messed up, if you don't like that, if you don't like it when your plans get messed up, this probably isn't the game for you. Now, there's different mitigation you could do. You can get more cards, you can do this, you can do that. There's certain abilities that can help you out with that. But in general, you're going to be losing 2 cards every time, Now, you don't lose them, you'll keep them in your pantry, but your plans are going to get messed up in this game sometimes, and you got to be okay with that. The other thing I didn't like is some of the goals can definitely depend on how much of a card draw, especially if some of them have to do with certain areas, right? And you might just not be seeing those. And sure, you can get water and look at the top one, try to get, nope, well, my second basic action for this round. It's the last one I could take. Do the water again, look at the top of this thing. Darn it, it's not what I needed. I wish there was a way you could sort of wipe. Sure, I know at the end of the rounds they go off, and on the lower player accounts, half of them go away. But sometimes some of those goals can really depend on whether you get the right draw or not. Overall, I enjoyed the game. It was fun. If you asked me, hey, let's play Distilled, I'd gladly play it with you. I'm not as hot on the gameplay as what it seems most are. It looks like I'm in the minority here. I just saw right before I filmed this that it's on the BGG hotness ranking of like an average rating of like 8.17. It's flying up the ratings. Seems like most people like this more than I do. I thought it was fine. I didn't see anything hugely wrong with the game. It's just, buy cards, shuffle, get 2, go with your goals, go with this, go with that. That was pretty straightforward. I thought it's fine. It's a good game. I'm not sure, for me, I like it as much as what other people are rating it. And I do like the theme. So there you go. It's a good, solid game. Not one that I think should be on the top of the hype train of BGG. It's not one that really stood out for me from a gameplay-wise, but when you look at the whole thing in the production, I can definitely see it's a solid game that many people will like, probably more than me, and that is Distilled. It's been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships with board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table into a high-quality gaming solution, but they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with over 20 styles of thematic game mats in 11 different sizes from notable board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and real cool accessories, experience what thousands of other gamers enjoy by upgrading every game you play with a Game Topper system. Save hundreds of dollars on Game Topper package deals that are in stock now for immediate shipping at GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below.